Boom. What's going on, everyone? So, if you can see the picture above my head right now, so like I said in the Patreon of how to develop and become the best version of ourselves, things that you want, have it like on a poster in your area, so that way subconsciously you'll always see it. Let's say for racing, right? The NASCAR drivers they put faster in their bedroom, so then they always thought, okay, it's to drive faster. If you're let's say it's someone that wants to become a professional K-pop artist, right? They could put like a JYP, they could put a SM, they could put what other studios are there? JYP, SM, Black Label, they could put a poster of like their favorite K-pop studio in their room. What else is another example? Let's say even like a zookeeper, right? They could put like their favorite animal up on a wall. Let's say someone that wants to be a parent, right? They can have like pictures of families on their wall, stuff like that. So for me, up above right here on this, I have quit giving up, quit stopping, stop stopping, keep going, go beyond. That's the picture right above my head that I wrote down. I wrote quit giving up, quit stopping, stop stopping, keep going, go beyond. All right. And so the reason why this is important is if we talk about the subconscious mind, right? 140 trillion cells are on our body, plus, or however many, because everyone's different. So approximately 140 trillion cells on every human being, in the sense that, like I said in my videos for Apex, I did a Watson demonstration. I talk about the human brain. So consciously, if I work to think, my brain can process 4 pieces of information, right? So like, if we look at this orangutan, he has 4 limbs. My brain can process that, right? However, look at his head. I need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need to count the head. So 4 limbs and then a 5th like external limb is the head. So like, if we think about the way that the conscious mind works, information can go in and we can process information about 4 pieces of information at a time consciously. However, subconsciously, the human body, the human brain can process 14 million pieces, 14 million bits, 14 million pieces of information, 14 million bits of information. The subconscious mind can process that, right? So the reason why having these pictures around and the subconscious is important is because the more and more that we see the things that we want manifesting, right? Our body and our RAS. I literally say it every video. The RAS, the more and more that we are innervating and activating the reticular rating activating system, like I mentioned earlier, 140 trillion cells on the human body. If that's the case, the 14 million bits, the 14 million pieces, the 14 million bits, the 14 million pieces of information that are being processed in our brain, right, then go into our body 10 times. So if we see it 10 times, right, then it'll go into our body 10 times. Does that make sense? Because 14 times 10, right, 140 trillion. Wait, 14 million. So the multiplier is even bigger than that. 10,000, 100,000, whatever the multiplier is, from 14 million to 140 trillion. Whatever that multiplier is, right? So from 14 million pieces of information to then converting into our body all 140 trillion cells to then go into doing the things that we want to aspire, right? This is why it's extremely powerful, and the way that technology is changing everything is because, like I said in my other videos before, the bandwidth at which the data and information that the human mind can go is too slow right now. It looks fast, right? There's a lot of fast-moving things. However, it's still slow in comparison into the multiplanetary objective that humans want to accomplish. And so, if we look at the industry, right? The K-pop industry, the rap industry, the fitness industry, the beatbox industry, right? These 4 industries, oh my goodness, came out of nowhere in the past 10 years, 5 years. Artists are literally becoming millionaires overnight off of one song, off of one dance video, off of one beatbox video, off of one fitness video, right? off of one dance video, off of one rap video, off of one dance video, off of one fitness video, off of one beatbox video. Youngsters like me, youngsters like us, right, mid 20s, late teens, like 16 and up, right? So between 14 to like 26, those ages, oh my goodness, boom, 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 boom. Next day, millionaire. Next day, millionaire. Next day, billionaire, right? People are becoming billionaires in their 20s, right? One of the youngest billionaires, he was 27 when he became a billionaire. And what he did to multiply his money was trade. So Bitcoin in the US was 1.1 million, 1.1 thousand, so 1,100, and in Japan it was 1,300. Now what he did is, in the way that the market worked, since Japan and the US at that time, the currencies consistently were going 1,100 in the US and then 1,300 in the US. In Japan, 1,100 in Japan, 1,300 in Japan, right? And so the currencies, right, the value of the currencies kept swapping. The US went up while Japan went down. Japan went up while the US went down. So what he did to get to $1 billion was he just kept trading that same pattern over and over and over and over and over again for 1 year. And he became a billionaire in 1 year off of trading only Bitcoin between USD JPY and JPY USD. You guys understand what I'm saying? Where it's like, to become successful, to get that is to do the same thing for the same thing that works for an uncommonly long period of time. And he did the exact one thing, was trade Bitcoin USD, Bitcoin JPY back and forth only. For 1 year, he became a billionaire, right? Look him up. He's the creator, the founder, the CEO of FTX. And the reason why I bring all this into aspect of, the K-pop industry, the rap industry, the K-pop industry, the fitness industry, the beatbox industry, all these industries, is a sense that if we look at the number of successful people nowadays, quote unquote successful, so to be in the top 1%, all you need is 250,000 and above. So if you have a salary or an income of 250,000 and above, you're already in the top 1%. That top 1% grows every day, right? And then to get even smaller than that, 0.01%. So now that the competition gets heavier and bigger every day, what I'm saying is, in the sense that how the human mind processes information used to be very slow. However, now that we have technology, education is free, education is education is massive. We can learn so much rapidly, so much faster, that the information of 140 trillion cells, the information of subconsciously processing 14 million bits, 14 million pieces, is now different. Because of the NFT space, because of the Web 3.0 space, because of automation, because of AI, right? Because humans are cyborgs, right? Now we're cyborgs. There's an alternate version of me. So hello everyone, this is the alternate version of me. All the videos on YouTube, all the videos on Instagram, all the videos on TikTok, all the Spotify podcasts, Spotify albums, playlists, tracks that I'm making, right? All of these NFT things is another product of me, right? So if you think about 140 trillion cells, it's now a little bit different, as in the cells is data. So it's not human cells on us. If we think about the digital world, it's data, right? Those cells are data now. In the sense that if I make megabytes, gigabytes into cells, that means that I wouldn't have only 140 trillion cells anymore. I might have 200 trillion cells. I might have 300 trillion cells. I might have quadrillion cells. I might have centillion cells. I might have Googleplex to the Googleplex power cells, right? And so why technology is so powerful, and it's rapidly boosting the success at which youngsters, right? There are 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds, K-pop artists that are making so much fame, that are changing the world. Young artists like me, young rappers that are literally changing the game, overnight successes. And then that youngsters that have been alive less, youngsters have been living less. We have less experience in the world than older people that are 40 years plus. However, the knowledge, what it seems like is youngsters are smarter than people that are older. And it doesn't make sense to me because the older generation has the upper hand in terms of experience. So if that's the case, if the older generation, right, citizens that are 30 years plus, if they have so much knowledge and experience, wouldn't they be the most smartest and be able to dominate the industry? Now it's not like that anymore. There's 15-year-olds that are making more money off of real estate than there are 40-year-olds that have been in the game their entire life. And so what I'm saying is, and how technology is changing everything, is the bandwidth at humans' rate of learning and success is so much faster now. 20 minutes doesn't equal 20 minutes anymore. 20 minutes equals 2 seconds. 2 hours doesn't equal 2 hours anymore. 2 hours equals 2 milliseconds. 20 days is not 20 days anymore. 20 days is 2 nanoseconds. 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 20 years is not 20 years anymore. 20 years is less than a nanosecond, a Planck length second. 1 times 10 to the negative 71 value second is 20 years now, right? And so what I'm saying is, in the sense that if we look at how quickly this generation now is able to go from literally no one knowing them and then all of a sudden becoming a viral success that can generate millions of dollars of wealth. For example, Mr. Beast, Kylie Jenner, at that time when Justin Bieber first debuted, One Direction, Big Time Rush, a lot of these small artists, right? 5D, who else is there? Even Ariana Grande, she came from nothing to going to Victorious to being one of the top artists in the world. And look how young she is, right? Who knows in the next 10 years the empire that Ariana Grande can build, right? Even Rihanna, I know Rihanna's in her 30s, and I mentioned like Rihanna has a billion-dollar industry of makeup. Who else is there? Like what I'm saying is, and now Rihanna, she's also a great role model for youngsters in the sense that there are, let's say, rising entrepreneurs who are getting into makeup are able to make so much money and success off of learning and quadrupling and 10 timings things that successful people have already done, right? And what I'm saying is the way that, the generation and that humanity and the masses are moving is that, in the sense that I say speed, right? So micro, macro speed. A lot of people think, oh, I'm moving very quickly in terms of school. I'm moving very quickly in terms of studying in school and all this other stuff, when you're really not. Now check this out. In terms of micro versus macro speed, let's say there's a rapper, right, who puts out 200 songs, and for 2 years, no one knew about him. But then that 200th song popped off, and then all of his other 199 songs continue to pop off, right? In the same way that YouTube compounds, in the same way that Spotify compounds, in the same way that Instagram compounds, in the same way that TikTok compounds, in the same way that TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, all of these softwares compound in the sense that when you have one video posted, it never drops, and then as you watch more and more views go on it, then it shows up more and more and more. More views equals more views. The more and more views, listens, Instagram checks, whatever, double taps, and then TikTok double taps, liking, whatever, the more swipes, whatever, that we get on certain NFTs, right? Certain NFTs, then it just equals more, right? More equals more, more equals more. We can see it. A video 10 years ago that has 1 billion views will still show up in the recommendation, right? And so what I'm saying is, in terms of why these things are important and how do things compound, is because there is a difference of activity and productivity. So I'll say it again. There's a difference of activity and productivity. I'm going to keep saying it again. There's a difference of activity and productivity. There's a difference of activity and productivity. Activity, quote unquote, a lot of activity is, oh, I'm going to go to school, I'm going to go to the library, I'm going to talk to all these people, not get any homework done, But I went to school, I did a lot of activity. Oh, wait, maybe I moved the needle forward. Scratch that, you didn't do anything, right? Versus productivity, right? Let's say there was an artist that no one knew about. like I said, for 2 years. And all I did every single day, studio, 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 loop, 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 studio, 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 studio. For 2 years straight. No one knew about him, no income service, no revenue, nothing. He didn't get anything for 2 years. And then what happened is, okay, now that he has 200 tracks out, 200 songs out, they all compound. Because the first one that popped off, then what's gonna happen is people are gonna go back into his archives and then listen to all this other old music, and they'll realize, wait, all of this other old music is insane, right? And so it's the intention behind it. The intention behind school is not for you to be successful. The intention behind school is for you to be a slave, right? The intention behind school is not to be successful. The intention behind school is for you to be a slave, right? And so in terms of why I say the system now is completely 180'd, is in the sense that there are high schoolers that drop out of high school, go commit to dancing at a K-pop industry, and then they become a K-pop artist, and then they take over the world. There's high schoolers that drop out of high school, commit to rap, commit to rap only, and then they become a famous, successful rap artist. There are high schoolers that drop out of high school, commit to dancing, only dance, 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 loop, 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 dance, 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 dance. And then they pop off, the next couple of years, and they become the world's best dancer. Beatboxers. There are beatboxers that are leaving their jobs. That's amazing. That's amazing. Beatboxers are leaving their jobs because beatboxing is now their revenue income, is now their full-time income that they're able to profit and live off of beatboxing. That's amazing. That's an amazing step forward for the beatboxers industry, right? I'm a beatboxer myself, and that's one of the best news I ever heard. Look up Helium Beatbox, everyone. Look up Helium Beatbox. He left his job and he committed full-time to beatboxing. That's amazing. Look at Collapse Beatbox. Grand Beatbox Battle Champion 2022. He left his software engineering job to pursue beatboxing full-time. Now he can. These two beatboxers replaced their jobs with beatboxing, and now that they're doing what they love is now their full-time profit, full-time income stream. So, why I'm saying this is this right now, everyone is existing in the best period of time of humanity because we don't need to be slaves anymore to quote-unquote get a paycheck salary to whatever, live in a whatever house and whatever stuff. Now we can do what we actually want to do what we actually love, and on top of that, have massive success, massive wealth. And I don't just mean materialistic wealth, spiritual wealth, mentality wealth, right? So much wealth in the sense that there are youngsters, right? For me, it doesn't make sense how it's like, people that have full-time degrees, versus other individuals that don't have degrees, that drop out of high school, but are not only more materialistically successful, also spirituality and mentally successful, and frankly smarter. If any of you realize, like, the way that the education system has made humans, I think that people that are successful without the quote-unquote traditional education system actually are smarter, right? And I'll explain why. Education system, the actual school system, is a scam in the sense that education is failing. Learning is failing. Learning is losing. Learning is asking for help. School systems teach us to do none of that. You're not supposed to fail. You're not supposed to lose. You're not supposed to ask for help. Wait, hold on. Losing, failing. What was the other option? Asking for help. Losing, failing, and then asking for help. What I'm saying is, in the way that education is free, right? Why I'm saying this video, and I want everyone to understand the real and actual purpose of this video, is in the sense that the world is changing so much, right? Why I am extremely fascinated to see how literal 14-year-olds are able to make more money than people who have 8-year degrees. What? I'm just gonna leave it there. There's so much more to talk about. I'm just gonna leave it there.